And today is Ruby Tuesday. For today's video, if you guys couldn't already tell, I'm going to be doing a Draw My Life, and I know that this is well overdue, but I'm still going to do it anyways. And yes, I did buy this whiteboard from Dollarama because my main purpose was to just use this whiteboard for this video, and I apologize in advance for my drawing skills. I am not that great at drawing. That's why I took drama in high school instead of art. So when I was born, I was a pretty skinny baby, and I was born in Toronto, Canada, aka T-Dot, aka 6, or whatever else Jake calls Toronto these days. And I was born to a family of a mom, a dad, and an older sister named Krishma. And I feel like my sister didn't really like me when I was born. I feel like she was kind of jealous of me. When I was born, she was 5 years old, turning 6 in September. I was born on June 15. But not only was that my birthday, that was also Father's Day, so therefore I was born on a Sunday. So I like to think of it as I was my dad's Father's Day gift. So my dad, my mom, and my sister were all born in Kabul, Afghanistan. And then when I believe my sister was about 3 months old, they all moved to Pakistan. And not only them, but my mom's side of the family, her siblings, her parents, her mom's siblings, and her dad's siblings all moved to Pakistan. I'm not sure very specifically where they lived in Pakistan, but 3 years after that, when my sister was 3 years old, they all moved to Toronto, Canada, and some of them moved to Montreal. And then 3 years later, when they settled down in Canada, I was born. When I was in Toronto, I lived in an apartment building, and both of my mom's parents lived there as well, and they lived with my mom's brother and their kid. So I lived on the 10th floor, I believed, and my cousin / grandma's apartment was higher up in the building, but I forget which level they lived in. And since my mom's side of the family lived in the same building, we were very close. We would always go and hang out, and I was just a really happy child hanging out with my cousin and my grandma. The apartment I lived in was pretty small considering there were 4 people living in it. There was only 1 bedroom, and my sister and my dad would take turns sleeping in it, and the rest of us would all sleep in the living room, either on the couch or these Afghan floor mattresses we call toshaks. The thing that I remember the most between my relationship between me and my sister in the apartment was that my sister loved taking photos of me. We would always have photo shoots, and she would always just pull out her silver camera, make me dress up, and tell me to do poses, and then she would go and print them out. My sister told me the story about how when I was younger I had a Dora CD, and I actually had this whole set that came with a Dora doll to this like Dora teddy bear type of thing, and I actually still have it as just a memory and a keepsake. And my sister would tell me that when I was not going to school just yet, I would play the Dora CD on repeat every day. So she decided to break it, and that equaled to me having a broken heart. And I feel like that kind of represented the dislike and the annoyingness that she had for me. When I would go to visit my grandma's apartment, I would always play with my little cousin, even though she wasn't that much younger than me. She was only 6 months younger than me, but she was born in January and I was born in June, so therefore we are in different grades. But I remember us just were running around the house, running around the hallways, playing tag, playing hide and go seek, and my grandma and grandparents yelling at us to come back inside. When I was still pretty young, I believe that I hadn't gone to school yet. My mom and my dad got a divorce, and I don't think my sister minded that much because she didn't have a close relationship with my dad, but I kind of did, so I was sad to see him go, but I could still visit him. And then my mom was stuck with 2 monsters. I'm not really sure what my dad worked as back then, but all I know is that right now he works as a maintenance man in a building. My mom, when she was a single mom, she went to Seneca College and she got her degree as an ECE, and she worked at a daycare that was pretty far from my home. And currently my sister is working as a waitress at a restaurant called Moxie's. My mom unfortunately got her shoulder broken, so she had to go to surgery for that and was unable to do her work at the daycare for a couple of years. So instead she's going to hairstyling school currently, and hopefully when she's done she will able to get a job. Because my mom had to go to work and my sister had to go to school, I was sent to daycare well before I even started school. And luckily for us, there was a daycare that was right beside the building that we lived in, and that was where I first learned how to create relationships, and I really did enjoy it there. I made a lot of friends, and the adults there gave us a lot of fun activities to do, like building blocks. There were musical instruments, and there were plenty of art supplies and just fun little competitions, and I absolutely loved it there. And I more specifically remember the food they gave us. I remember that I loved the lasagna there, and I despised the orange juice. There was also a separate room where they would take care of the little babies, and I remember my friends and I would always try to go and sneak in and just play with the babies and just see them really, but we were not allowed in because we were destructive little kids. Right beside my daycare, we had the public school, which I went to, which my sister also went to. And I remember that one of the adults from the daycare would take us and walk us to, my friends and I, to school every day. And I remember there being a cross guard named Jerry, and he would always give us lollipops every day. And I remember on the last day that he was working, we made him all cards. And also a fun fact, on my first day of school, I was bald, which I will explain in a second. One day when I went to go visit my dad, he decided to shave all of my hair off, and he believed that this would help my hair to grow longer and stronger because he did it to my sister's hair in the past and her hair grew to be very long. So he decided to do it, but when I went home, my mom was screaming. In school, in kindergarten, I wasn't the best kid. I was known for hitting the other kids and getting into fights with them. And I even remember on my report card, I got an R, and my sister helped me to hide it from my mom. As I said before, my family and I were really close, so we would always go to the park together and I would play with my little cousins. And the science center was also very, very close to where we lived. We never went inside. I have no idea why, but all those years that we lived there, we never went inside of the science center. We just played outside of it. During my lifetime, I had a lot of injuries and I had to go to the hospital plenty of times. The first time was when I was a little baby and I knocked off hot tea from a table and it spilled all over my leg, and now I have this huge burn on my leg. The second one was where I apparently fell on a nail. Yes, those kinds of nails, and it went into my eyebrow, and I've had a bald spot on my eyebrow ever since. The third injury I've had was when I drank oven cleaner, and then I had to go to Sick Kids Hospital for 1 week, and they made me like drink some stuff to get rid of all the chemicals. But there's still another burn on my stomach. And the fourth injury was when I thought it was a good idea to sit on my bed, which has a whole bunch of those floor mattresses, and I sat on it while watching TV in the bedroom, and I fell down and fell right on top of my left arm. During my senior kindergarten year, my grandma and my grandpa and everyone living in that apartment decided to move to where we currently live now, And as I said before, my mom and my entire family and I were very close to our grandparents, so we decided to move there as well. And I feel like my sister didn't really mind, but again, I did because I was so attached to that place. That is where I was born and where I grew up. And then I live where I currently live right now for the past 9 years, which is in this small townhouse. It's definitely bigger than the apartment, but it's not that big. But now we have 3 bedrooms instead of just 1. So the new school that I went to, I was there from grade 1 to grade 8. So therefore I spent the majority of my life at that school, and I also graduated from that school. And I'm thankful that I went there in grade 1 because it's easier to make friends in the younger grades rather than the older grades, like how my sister went to that school when she was in grade 7. So I'm pretty sure she didn't make as many friends as me, and I had a closer relationship with the people at the school rather than my sister did. I used to be made fun of a lot of the imperfect things about me because kids are evil. And not just kids, there were adults too that had the audacity to say these things to me, such as, "Why do you look Chinese?" Even though I wasn't Chinese. And they'd also call me skinny as if that was a bad thing. And they would also ask me why I stuttered so much, and they would also imitate me. And these things made me feel so hurt, and I was a little kid, so I didn't know how to reply, and I still don't know how to reply. But what I do is I just embraced myself really. I grew more confidence in myself, and I learned that these people aren't really that educated. Maybe that's why they feel like they need to say these things to me. And Mulan is my favorite movie, and I feel like that movie is what made me become a very strong feminist, which people seem to not like these days, but it doesn't matter. I'm still a very strong feminist. So in grade 1, I made a lot of friends, and again, I will not name them because they probably do not want to be named, but grade 1 to 3, it was just years full of fun.